This morning, I'd had a terrible migraine, which was quite unexpected because it usually came in the evening, gradually getting worse and making me hide in the dark like a vampire, though perhaps it was triggered by the amount I'd drunk last night. For me, as for many ordinary office rats, no Friday has long been without a bottle of something strong. So, complaining about my age, wistfully remembering the time when, no matter how much I drank, I felt great in the morning, except that I was thirsty, I scattered 2 aspirin tablets in a glass and drained it without a second thought. I didn't think it would do me any good, but it was better than nothing. When I came to my senses and looked around, I noticed that the room was quite dark and cool, which was a pleasant surprise after the long, stifling June heat. I wonder what time it is, I thought, trying to look for my cell phone. After a couple of minutes of fruitless searching, I realized it wasn't worth it. It was Saturday anyway, so I wasn't in any hurry. For some reason, I didn't feel like eating. I didn't feel like drinking either. So I turned on the computer and opened Facebook, browsed the feed a bit. Nothing interesting. I've seen it all many times before. Copy pasta, endless bananas. It seems that people have finally run out of imagination. Ruthlessly closing the tab with the tape, I decided to write to my best friend Olga to find out how she was after yesterday. I smirked and started to write her a message. "Well, are you alive?" After admiring the caption, Olga is typing a message. For a minute, I chuckled involuntarily when the caption disappeared. Looks like someone is incapable of forming logical sentences. Apparently, I still got off easy. With those thoughts, I went to the bathroom. My head wouldn't go away, and I hoped a cold shower would help me. I turned the faucet back and forth. Nothing. Oh, great. The water's off. I still didn't feel like eating. But since food sometimes relieves a migraine, I went to the kitchen. In the refrigerator, as they say, a mouse hung itself. Not that I'm a bad hostess. It's just that lately. What? I thought for a few seconds, my memory seemingly shutting down. What was I just thinking about? Okay, looks like I need to go to the store to get something to eat. I quickly pulled on shorts and a tank top, grabbed my purse, and headed for the door. What the... I looked in shock to where the door to the entryway had been my entire conscious life. But it wasn't there. A bare wall stretched from corner to corner of the hallway. It was as if it had always been there. My brain refused to perceive what was happening, and maybe that was the only thing that kept me from going crazy on the spot. I groped every inch of the damn wall with growing terror. It was 100% real. I wasn't seeing things. It's a dream, my waking consciousness calmly stated. I'm going to wake up now. I pinched my arm a couple times, patted my cheeks. Nothing. "Windows!" exclaimed a mental voice. I rushed into the kitchen and opened the curtain. It was pitch black outside the window. There were no street lights, no car headlights, no source of light. I tried to open the window, but it wouldn't open. In a panic, I grabbed a chair and threw it at the window with all my might. It shattered, and the chair fell silently into the darkness. I went back to the window and listened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The silence seemed not just to exist on its own, but to draw all sound into itself like some black hole. I looked around and saw a box of matches. I lit one and threw it into the darkness. The match flew silently. The flame flickered a couple times and went out. A cold wave of despair rose in me, and I grabbed the kettle and threw it out the window, listening, trying to hear it land. It took about 5 minutes before I realized that I was still standing like that, listening, and this was ridiculous. I wasn't going to hear anything. Leaning against the wall by the window, I slid effortlessly down it to the floor and seemingly passed out. I don't know how much time had passed, but I was awakened by the sudden thought that I'd forgotten about my phone. I could call someone. After all, I have internet. I could call for help via Facebook, text a friend. I found my phone under the table, and I wasn't even surprised to see that it didn't catch. That left the computer. I had already texted Ola since morning. After all, I'll just write that. I'm stuck. Where? Where am I? Before, all my thoughts were focused on how to get out. But now, I'm thinking about where I want to get out. What the hell is this place? How did I get here? And why does this place look exactly like my apartment? It's only now that I'm seriously realizing the unreality of what's happening. I wasn't kidnapped or walled up. What was happening couldn't be real at all. A sharp pain pierced my head, and I cried out, bending in half and grabbing my face. Damn migraine. Why won't it go away? One way or another, I need to get in touch with someone, or I'm gonna go crazy. What's going on? And what this place is, I'll find out later. I sat down at my computer and pressed the spacebar to reset the sleep mode. Nothing happened. After clicking the spacebar a few times, I realized that the computer wasn't on. Bending over to the system unit, I pressed the power button. Again, nothing. My heart raced, and I began to shake. I slammed my fist against the desk with a swing. What's going on? What should I do? I cried, tucking myself into my pillow. I don't know how much time had passed, but I think I had cried all I could. And I just sat there, rocking from side to side like a complete and utter lunatic. I kept thinking, why did I do this? What happened? How did I end up in this? Nowhere. My head ached more and more. My face was burning. I should go wash my face. Maybe it would get better. There was no water, but there were always a couple bottles under the sink, in case there was an outage. I got up and headed for the bathroom. There was a light on in the bathroom. That's weird. Did I turn it on? I went in, grabbed a bottle, and began furiously pouring water on my head over the sink. I wanted to cool my face, cool my head, cool my thoughts and feelings with this water. I looked at myself in the mirror, pale, gaunt. It was as if I had been here for a month, not just a day. Something caught my attention in the reflection of the mirror behind me. Something was wrong. I turned around. It was the curtain. It had been pulled off its hinges and was covering the bathtub. There was something underneath it. I reached out slowly. I didn't want to do this. Didn't want to know what was under the curtain. My stomach clenched, a lump coming to my throat. I was struck with a killing cold when I pulled it down. There was a body under the curtain. My dead body, my exact replica, lay at the bottom of the tub in an unnatural pose, clutching the curtain with a white hand. There was a large pool of blood beneath my head. Her eyes were wide open, horror in them. In the interminably long moment that I had fainted, I remembered everything. It was evening. I was taking a shower. I had recently come from a party, and I was drunk, but not so drunk that I couldn't hear the bathroom door slam behind me. I remember a dark silhouette, no face visible from behind the curtain. He didn't try to pull it away. He came over and pushed me, and I grabbed onto it and flew to the bottom of the tub with it. He wrapped his hands around my throat and started banging my head against the cast iron bottom. My last thought was, what lately? I've been dead lately. There was only darkness and silence from then on. Igor woke up to a quiet sound that wouldn't stop. When he listened, he realized that it was sobbing. He got up, threw on a robe, and went to the kitchen where the sounds were coming from. His wife was sitting at the table, leaning over her laptop and crying quietly. "Did you go in there again?" he asked. I'm sorry." She burst into tears. "Why? We've discussed this 100 times. You created a new page to stop this. Why are you logging into your old account again?" It came again today. Every day until now. For 3 years now, every single day, at the same time, at exactly 6:40, the same damn phrase. Who needs it to write it every morning from her page? Why? Olga, you don't have to do it manually. How do they send spam? I'm sure some bastards hacked into her page and made something to send it themselves. Every day. I'm sure there's some kind of program that does that. I'm sure they don't send spam by hand. But who would want to do that? Igor walked over to Ola and looked over her shoulder and into the computer. On the monitor, there was a page of dialogues with her friend who had been murdered 3 years ago. He ran his eyes over those lines, repeated every day at 6:40. Well, are you alive? What kind of freak would waste time on something like that? Look. Maybe it's her ex-boyfriend. Maybe her death wasn't enough for him. Maybe he's just trying to drive you crazy. I mean, you're the reason they broke up. You told her he was cheating on her. I mean, he's in a maximum security penitentiary. He was given a premeditated felony. I told you. He doesn't have any access to the net. Well, maybe he's got someone on the outside helping him. There's not many creatures on Earth. Anyway, don't come in here in case they somehow get to you through the IP. I don't know. Just forget about it. Shut it down and never open it again. You can't bring her back. She's dead. You saw the funeral. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna go make breakfast. Olya unlogged, closed her laptop, and went to make scrambled eggs and coffee. Igor looked thoughtfully at his laptop for a while, and then he came to his wife and hugged her tightly. I am with you, and I love you. Everything will get better. Just close this page of your life, he said, and kissed her neck. I'd had a terrible migraine since this morning, which was unexpected because it usually came in the evening, gradually getting worse and making me hide in the dark like a vampire. Though, perhaps it was triggered by the amount I'd drunk last night. For me, as for many ordinary office rats, no Friday has long been without a bottle of something strong. So, complaining about my age, wistfully remembering the time when, regardless of the amount I drank, I felt great in the morning, except that I was thirsty, I diluted 2 aspirin tablets in a glass and drained it without a second thought.